A brand new bike manufacturer has just opened up shop in Fewladelphia, and now there's huge demand from residents for dedicated bike lanes and infrastructure to improve road safety and encourage more people to take up cycling. So today the Mayor has approved a massive citywide cyclist-friendly overhaul of infrastructure, introducing dedicated biking lanes, cycle highways, new bicycle parking, along with addressing some much-needed service expansion. Let's dive in. Alright, so we're back and we seem to have recovered a little bit following the Bridges and Ports update. As you can see, there aren't many, if any actually, traffic warnings across the city. We do still have little areas of backup, like here for example. You can see this is a busy intersection, so there's a small queue of traffic there, but you can see things like some of the intersections we tried to fix last time, like this one, really clear now, wonderful to see. This one over here as well, flowing quite nicely, and all of the traffic flowing through the centre kind of ebbs and flows as you would expect, so there is quite a lot here actually. We haven't got traffic warnings at the moment, but there is still a large amount coming up this road, but it's nowhere near as bad as it was, thankfully. And now we've had another update, which is bikes, so we're going to be addressing those today. As you can see across the city though, we have a lot of other warnings. So the big one here is garbage. All of a sudden, we've got absolutely tons of garbage warnings, and I don't think it's to do with the traffic, to be honest, because it's really not that bad in certain places. It seems to be cul-de-sacs are not being collected, or not collected as regularly, shall we say. So I don't know what that's about, but we're definitely going to have a look at garbage management later in this episode. But before we do that, we're going to look at bikes. So we have got bikes in the city now, and I have been looking around and I've seen a couple coming and going. I've let the game play quite a bit since the Bridges and Ports update to try and see if things would just calm down, which they have a little bit, at least from a traffic point of view and definitely from a pedestrian point of view, so that shopping bug seems to be much, much better than it was, which is good news, but yeah, I can't really see many bikes, so we're going to help them out. And because I have been letting it play, we have got a little bit of data here in terms of bike usage, so you can see where the busy strips are. And I think what's really interesting here is it's kind of all along this one road. So actually, Franklin Street, shout out to Franklin in our Discord. So Franklin Street, which runs all the way through Few Haven, up around Gaudy Bay, and then also, I mean, it separates into a different street, but it's technically the same street, up into Burrill over here as well, and down into Fisher's Point. That is the busiest bike route in the city at the moment. So I definitely think we're going to want to introduce bike lanes along there, and some kind of highway. Now we also do have this here where coming from Tinney across to Fisher's Point is reasonably busy. Now the downside of this is I don't think we can upgrade this road, the Grand Bridge, to have bike lanes. We cannot. And I'm not really inclined to have a bike bridge crossing here to ruin the effect of our Grand Bridge across our little bay area here. So I think what we are going to do for that is create a bike highway which comes through from Tinney, kind of following where the actual highway is here, around here, and then can loop into Fisher's Point at certain points, and then we'll obviously join up into the Burrill network going on to Few Haven through there. So that's the overall plan. So we're going to start down in Fisher's Point here, and I'm just going to head them all the way up this road with a simple bike lane upgrade, nothing too special about that, but that will take them all the way out towards where the ferry is here. So obviously it's not onto the actual ferry road, but it's close to it. We've got tram stops around here which can take people out to the rest of the city if they wanted to transfer from their bike. But it's going to give quite a nice centralised bike lane at least. So I'm not going to worry about that direction for the moment, and we're going to head on up this way. And at this point we could go up here on the tram route. Oh, I'm just noticing there's some errors there. I've just ruined the trams here at this point. Hang on a second. That's fixed it. So at this point we could go off the main street and up this smaller side street, but I think really we're just going to keep the bike lanes flowing up the main street. They're going to be off the course of the traffic here, and I'd rather avoid that than have the bikes actually going in the same lanes as all the cars. So I think this will be a better solution. Now here we again can't upgrade. Oh, we've got a lot of traffic again. There still seems to be issues. One point to note actually while we're on that, I did take off the left-hand turn here. So you can no longer turn left from this direction, which is where a lot of cars were going, and you can only turn right out of this direction. Same here, you can't turn left from here either. So if someone did want to get onto this side of Burrill from this direction, they're going to have to turn off here and go under the bridge, which was a point that a couple of you made in the comments. So thank you for mentioning that. It definitely helped the traffic. I mean, it's backing up a little bit now. We're coming into rush hour, so maybe it's to be expected. Anyway, back to the bike lanes. At this point, what I do want to do is take it off the main road because we can't upgrade this to bike lanes up here, and I don't really want the bikes then merging into main traffic. So we're going to flow it down this road and along here just a little bit up to about this point, and then we're going to bring it out into its own bridge across here, and that way we can avoid the bikes merging into the really busy high traffic volume street that we have along here. So the connection here isn't the nicest, but it's gonna do for now. We might tidy that up a little bit later with some extra surfaces in there. Then we'll bridge across here and we'll go back to flat on the ground just for a tiny bit, probably so that we can have a road crossing here as well to bring people out on the island across either side of the bike track. And then what we want is a reasonably gentle slope up here. Now 9.4%. I think the cyclists are going to have to work their legs a little bit. It's not too bad. It could be worse. And we're going to bring it straight across towards this crossing here. Now this isn't parallel to the bridge that we have, but I'm going to see what it looks like and hopefully it won't end up too bad. So we then bring them down at this crossing here. I'm hoping they can just cross over this road because that's super low traffic volume going out into Havenwood Village, retirement village over there. So it shouldn't affect it too badly. And then what we can do is bring it up alongside this highway. Wow, the traffic has built up again. Yeah, we've still got traffic problems. There's no denying that. But yes, if we bring it up alongside this road, at least it keeps the bikes off this road for a period of time. So I'm thinking round the edge of the forest here and then maybe bring them back in, potentially at this junction opposite the quarries, although there's a lot of trucks there, so maybe this one might be a bit more appropriate. Okay, so that sits in reasonably well. I think what might be nice here is to add in a little bit of safety fencing between the road and the bike lane, although I don't know if that makes sense because the pedestrians aren't protected here, but we're going to do it nonetheless. I think just the small concrete wall like this would do the job pretty nicely. Yeah, just like that is not too bad. There's some bits where it sort of moves further away that might need a little bit of tidying up here or there, and we could probably do with shifting back a few more of these trees. That's quite a nice little shady bike path to go along for coming down there. So that takes us up to this point, and then we're going to continue on adding bike lanes to our roads. Now the interesting thing is here, they won't show up because we've got the bus stops there. So I do wonder, although this side is busier from a traffic point of view, I wonder if we move those bus stops. Oh no, we're not going to because it is busier there from a traffic point of view, so I think that's okay. We have clicked to upgrade it with the bike lanes, so hopefully they will still merge at this point and come onto the bike lanes here. It doesn't make a huge amount of sense visually, so I might come back to that later and see what we can do with it. And again, we've got the same situation here where there's bus stops on the bike lane road, so yeah, that's not ideal. I'm just thinking back to where the first one was, which was here, and wondering if we could bring the bike superhighway off this way, but then I just think this is the busier road for bikes. This is the busiest road for bikes, so I don't think that makes a huge amount of sense. So I think we are better off just keeping it up this road and having to go back and have a little rethink about where those bus stops are, if there's anything that we can do to amend that. So let's keep flowing up here for now, and we're going to head all the way around through Gaudy Bay. And at this point, what I would like to do is kind of loop back round. So we're going to go all the way back up along this street here and back into Few Havens. This is going to take people from Upper Few Haven back down towards the centre. And they can meet up with the bike network there. So that just gives them an alternative route. And then the other thing we can do here as well, because we've got a bit of a shopping complex here, is bring the bike lanes out this way. So we'll bring them onto our smaller suburban street here, and I think what we probably will do is just end it at this roundabout. But that gives some reasonably good bike connections between Upper Few Haven, all the way across here, and up to Gaudy Bay at least too. Now I would also like to bring it on down to Atkinson, because I feel like that would be nice. So we're going to head it off the main street here, and we can go round the back of the college, and that keeps the bike traffic a little bit further away from this highway junction here as well. And then we can go up and round this commercial area here. Again, we're going to come on to bike parking in just a second so that we can really facilitate people actually using their bikes. But we can add some bike parking outside those shops, which I think will be a nice touch as well. But let's bring this on down all the way through into Atkinson. And then I think we'll head it down this way towards the town centre. And maybe have a bit of a sort of circle around the town centre here, so we bring it back out over this bridge and then loop it back onto the bike highway this side. So that gives them quite a lot of safe bike access, I think, from here. I'm kind of reluctant to bring it right down into the centre of Gaudy Bay. Like, we've got things like our special parking road along the beach here. And I quite like the hustle and bustle of having all of that parking along the streets here too, because there aren't that many parking lots in Gaudy Bay. So I think that that will be okay. One thing we could do, actually, I'm seeing this road here with grass along it. Let's convert this into a bike highway, which can at least come up to the side of the station here. So maybe we'll bring it out here, and then they convert into the station from the bike lanes there. So then if anyone wants to take the train, for example, across to Tinney, they can jump on the bike highway and land at the station here. And just before we continue on, a quick word from today's video sponsor, which is Instant Gaming. Over at Instant Gaming, it is Black Friday time, and Black Friday at Instant Gaming is different this year. It's not just about the discounts, it's your chance to win. Enjoy over 100 games at their lowest prices, with new deals unlocking every day between November 28th and December 1st. Right now, Ark Raiders is 30% off. Minecraft, if you've never tried that, 52% off. 43% off on Football Manager 26. And this is one of my personal favourites. The Elder Scrolls Online 2025 Premium Edition is 75% off right now. But that is not all. Instant Gaming are also offering a completely free of charge cart giveaway every single hour the Black Friday sale is on, so don't miss out. Check out my link in the description below to also help support the channel and bag yourself an amazing Black Friday deal. Now if we head back over to Burrill, the busy part was coming over this bridge, around this road, through the shopping district and then into Tinney here. We also had a bit of busyness up this road here, coming across into the Technology Institute. Now, I stupidly forgot to press record and put bike lanes here, and now all the data's disappeared. I have removed them, so we're going to retry. But this road, you'll have to trust me on this. It was busy. So the plan for Tinney is to kind of upgrade this route round here through the Technology Institute, and then what we'll do is carry on the bike network into the main downtown across the city from this road here. But I don't really want to extend it out this far into the suburbs of Tinney. I just feel like it's not the right environment to have loads of heavy bike lanes across it. As much as I want people to use bikes across the city, I also want to keep it to appropriate places, which we probably haven't reached the heart of just yet in Fewladelphia. It will come. So yeah, we're going to start at this point, and then, like I said, that can carry on into the city. And we're going to go across past the TV studios, down round through the commercial district here, which will give them nice access to all of that. We'll also bring it down here a little bit towards the station, just so they can easily get to the station if they want to here too. Now it is crossing the highway at this point, which may cause a bit of traffic, but it's actually not too busy at the moment here, so it's not too bad. And then we'll bring it up through this suburban street, which seems a little bit extreme, but it's going to carry people the way we want to up round the university here and then down through Tinney this way. Now at this point we talked about a bike superhighway, bringing it round and into the back of Fisher's Point. Yeah, there's a few issues with that. So we could, of course, bring it down this road, create an underpass, potentially with our underpass pedestrian path here. But this road, if we upgrade it to have bike lanes, because it's a road builder road with dedicated tram lanes, you end up with no pavement. If you can see that here, like it's a tiny strip of pavement. It also widens out the road, which is going to cause loads of havoc along here. So I'm not inclined to do that. I'm also not inclined to bring a bike superhighway out and around all of this spaghetti network here, because I just think that would look super unrealistic. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a nice scenic bike route for them by going up over this bridge here and along this road. Just up to this point here, because again, I don't want to bring them down onto this road and have bike paths along here. We can't really bring them out into all of this neighbourhood without destroying the lot of it, which I'm, again, not super inclined to do. So from here, we're going to create a bike highway, which is going to bring them round the junction, across over the highway here, and connect up into... Oh, I did leave this from the part I didn't record. And, well, there you go. There's the hint. And connect them up into a bike connection here. And then what we can do is bring the bike lanes off the main road at this point, connect it back into the main road, and then into the actual bike network, which we have down here. So that'll continue on this way and all the way across to Tinney. I think we'll cap it off with a nice bridge design coming across here. I don't know why our pillars have disappeared, and yeah, the one that I had deleted has reappeared, but there we go. We need to just place in some of our own pillars in here to keep this looking sensible and realistic. And that's a bit better. So yeah, we've got a reasonably smooth bike path down onto the road now, so now we can just go ahead and finish off those bike lanes. Now here, I would kind of like an extra node here, just so we can make the bike lanes come up to the correct point. Let's add in a fake piece of road just for the moment. We'll upgrade that to that point, and then we can delete out our tiny section of horrendous road there. And the markings aren't great, so we might do a little bit of work on that later on. Then yes, we can bring it out here, around the tram stop. I wonder why that piece of road is different. Why would I have done that? I'm not too sure. I'm not going to touch it in case I break the entire city. But like I said, we'll touch things up a little bit later. So I think here we'll also add the bike lanes on this side, because that seems to make a bit of sense for people wanting to connect into this intersection. I'm not sure why the bike lanes aren't connecting up that way. It might be a traffic thing potentially that we need to adjust. Yeah, so that's it. We can see the bikes are only travelling straight on rather than into here. Oh, and they'd have to be in that lane. Okay, to be honest, I prefer them being in that lane, because then at least they're not crossing over unnecessary traffic. So I think we'll keep that like it is. I am noticing there's some new turns in here now we've added in the bike lane that I definitely want to get rid of. Okay, that feels a little bit better. I really like that, how they've moved the bikes over to this lane to say go straight on there. That's really interesting. It'll be good when we press play, and once we've added in some parking as well, to get people actually using bikes, to see that in action there. But that actually completes quite a large bike loop across the city. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see how much usage we actually get on any of them. Oh, we do have someone using our little bike bridge over here. Wonderful to see on their electric scooter. Brilliant. Just wearing a helmet. Excellent. Safety first. So you can see with the bus stops, they are coming out into the main traffic lanes and then going back onto the bus lane. I think that's going to be okay. I think what we could do is, of course, readjust all of our bus lines, because there's a lot of bus stops up this street in particular. So here, again here, and again another couple of blocks on as well. But it seems to be alright and flowing at the moment, then weaving in and out of the bike lanes. Obviously they change lanes when they're turning anyway, so there's going to be a bit of movement regardless. So I think that's okay. Let's just take a little look at our bike busyness now that we've got those routes in. And you can see where we have actually upgraded the bike lanes here, that looks a little bit more busy than it was, I think. We have got people using our highway at this point. We have got people using our highway here as well. It looks like we've got some volume on it. And yes, I can see someone coming over the bridge now. We're still getting purple usage across this bridge here, but I guess that's to be expected. And we do now have bike lanes right at the bottom of the bridge. So yeah, there's someone on their scooter heading over there. We could of course ban bikes on this road and force them to cycle all the way round, but I don't know if that would necessarily be a help for traffic. Traffic isn't really a problem going over this bridge at the moment, so I think we'll just leave that. So that just leaves us with talking about bike parking. So I want to place bike parking in some of our busiest locations, so I'm thinking things like commercial centres, like the centre of Fewhaven, office parks, things like ferry stops. I don't know if people get off their bikes to get on the ferry. And I mean, by the look of that rack that's already there, I would say yes they do. So there's our answer provided for us. So we're going to focus on those and key places along our bike route where we know it's busiest. So definitely coming down out into this harbour, all around Fewhaven Centre, Gaudy Bay as well. So even though we don't have bike networks all the way across the centre here, I definitely want to provide some parking in and around the shops, the station, the college particularly as well, the high school, key points like that. And we can see actually Fewhaven and that gap between Beryl and Fisher's Point definitely seem to be the busiest areas. We've still got a lot of bikes on the old Grand Bridge as well. We'll decide what to do with that later. Keen to get your thoughts in the comments below as well. Whether you think we should ban bikes from there and force them around the highway or not. Let me know what you think. So as you can see, we already do have some bike parking built into our ferry stop over here in Fewhaven. But I would of course like to add more. Now we have several options with this if you haven't seen it yet. If you haven't, I mean, go and check out the update. It's brilliant. So we've got like bike storage, like these actual buildings, for example. So we could potentially utilise some of that into this space. We've got covered bike shelters as well, which I think might be quite nice here. So we could place a couple of these side by side against this road. Maybe, can we fit in two more over this side? If we just shuffle them along a tiny bit, we might be able to. Yes, we can. So yeah, I think a little bit of covered bike storage here, just to complement that, because I mean, that looks almost full to me. There must be a bit more demand for bike parking over here for sure. There is a larger bicycle shelter, of course, we could have utilised there, but I think we'll save that for somewhere else. We do then have the bike parking halls, which are much bigger, so that I think I'll probably save for really key downtown areas, probably. And then we've got the bicycle parking areas, but also bike parking that snaps to the sides of roads. So I think that might be quite nice in a few places, like here, for example. Opposite the taxi rank, outside the car lot there, could have just a little bit of bike parking on the street. And I think this is what we're going to do in various different places, is add small amounts of on-street bike parking like this. So we've got a huge amount of residences here, so this could be quite a nice appropriate place to do it. So we could have racks either side of the little cul-de-sac entrance into the backs of these buildings here where some of the parking is. We've of course got the welfare centre here as well, so that feels like quite a good place to have some bike parking. Now our pavement here isn't particularly wide, so let's maybe go up this side with it. And I just absolutely love how these just snap to the pavement. It's so brilliant. I really think that that is a good system. I'm not so keen on the fact that we have to have parking for them, otherwise they're going to cycle around for hours everywhere looking for the space. That is somewhat distracting. Like here, for example, this is a great spot right by the station to add a little bit of extra bike parking. Yeah, that one doesn't seem to want to go on the pedestrian road, but we can get these on. So let's definitely get a load of bike racks outside the station. in the middle of the pedestrian road here, which I think will just help facilitate people riding to and from the station. But we could maybe have some sheltered bike racks out on the street up here. Have one potentially at either end of that pedestrian road like that. And oh look, we've already got someone using the rack. Brilliant. Love it. Oh, we can see as well, there's already racks built in, and I think this is one of the best things that I like about this update, is that all those racks that we've seen already built into assets are actually functional now. So this is so great to see, and we can clearly see there is demand outside the station, so I'd expect these racks to get quite a lot of use here. And now obviously along the high street where we've got our bike lanes, this is going to be really important to get bike parking in, because we want people to use these bike lanes. And well, it's weird we could snap it into the middle. In fact, you know what, here? We might actually... yeah, let's take off our widened median, which is going to give us wider pavements, sidewalks. And that's going to make it a little bit easier for us to add bike parking along. So I think that's going to make a bit more sense. So we'll just have to narrow the median everywhere, all the way up here. But that's okay. We still don't get the parking anyway, so that's all good. And then, yes, we should be able to fit our bike shelters on the actual pavement, sidewalk, whatever you want to call it. So we can have a couple of the sheltered racks, I think is fine. But I'm mainly going to focus on these types of bike stands. Okay, so we've popped in quite a lot of bike parking across Fewhaven, Upper Fewhaven, Gaudy Bay and Atkinson. I'm still actually undecided about whether to bring the bike roads down to Fewcay. I think maybe that might be a bit much. Like I was saying before, a rural area, I don't think you would expect to have bike lanes running to it. But that doesn't mean we can't offer a bit of bike parking in and around the town centre. So I'm going to add a couple of stands to the street here and there, just to facilitate a little bit of that bike activity over here. Now we do have some issues I've noticed after this last update with some of our domes parking not connecting to roads properly, or their connections suddenly becoming a bit broken. I'm kind of finding I'm having to help them out in a few places by adding in extra invisible networks like this, but that one doesn't seem to want to be connecting. Oftentimes actually deleting them and reintroducing them as well. can help a bit too, but yeah, it's a little bit annoying. I keep coming across them. I don't know if anyone else has had that issue. I'd love to hear that in the comments below. So yeah, there's a tiny bit of bike parking in FewCandy now too. So that just leaves us with a load more in Beryl, Fisher's Point and Tinny. If we take a look at this already, we've actually already got 1,600 bike spaces and we've got 451 parked. So that's not too bad. We need to keep an eye on the availability and we'll see how we go. But yeah, we're going to want a load more in. So let's go ahead and do that. So we've got a lot of bike parking in. I've just plopped it all over. We've got 3,500 now with over half of them actually being used. So they are getting quite a lot of usage. I wonder if we go back to our bike networks now. Oh yeah, things are getting a little bit more purple. I can see. So yeah, there's a lot of usage here. This is where we've got the bike road upgrade up to Upper Fewhaven. Again, this is where we've upgraded through to Atkinson. So yeah, it seems to be working quite nicely actually. Even this road up here is getting a bit more usage with our cut through across to the back of Fisher's Point. So, I mean, if we look at our bike path here, yeah, you can see there's quite a few people using it. It's not super busy, but it's busy enough. That looks super ugly. I need to fix this up. Okay, that's a bit better. So yeah, quite a few people using that. And if we head on over to our bike super highway, up here. Now this was one of the busiest routes to start off with before we'd even introduced bike lanes. Yeah, you can see they're nicely using it along here. I'm hoping it's not going to have too much of an impact on traffic, which it doesn't seem to be here. I mean, this is cleared up. What time are we at? Midday? That's not too bad. Again, it's like I said, the traffic just seems to ebb and flow now. We have... Oh, hang on. We have a lot of bike traffic. Wow, what's going on here? We have a lot of bike traffic at this point where pedestrians and bikes are interfering with each other. Is there anything we can do to help that out? I do wonder. So let's see if we bring in a bike path from here across to here. It's almost like we need sort of dedicated one-way bike routes. That is not where I connected that in, but people seem to be driving up there anyway. Let's just put it on fast forward and see if we can get a few more people. I guess this level crossing doesn't help. They're all kind of stopping there and not really filtering through properly and then turning super awkwardly onto this section. There's a lot of cyclists here. I wasn't expecting this actually. Yeah, I definitely wasn't. We've got some bike stands getting a bit of use here too, which is nice to see. I think maybe this is the pathing not correcting themselves unless, yeah, some people are coming this way now. And other people are just still preferring to use the on-road bike lane. But I think there's more comfort through dedicated bike lanes. Which is another reason why people are probably using our bike lane to Fisher's Point between Tinny and Fisher's Point. Even though it's a longer route round than going over the Grand Bridge, it's more comfort because you've got that dedicated safety barrier, I suppose, even though there's no technical barrier there. Yeah, we almost need an actual intersection here, a bike intersection with one way so that they're not intersecting each other, or a bike traffic light of some sort. Yeah, that's an interesting thing. We've got tons of cyclists. Okay, Beryl is now the new cycling neighbourhood, it would appear. This has cleared up actually now though. I can see that that backlog has now disappeared, so having that extra connection in there does seem to have helped a bit. But yeah, we've got a big queue coming up this way still. And oh, I didn't move these trees. Hang on a second. That's a bit better. So they seem to be okay crossing this road here. And yeah, as you can see, as we come down here, this is all super busy. We've got a lot of traffic building up on the road again at this point. And then we come out here where there is a huge backlog of cyclists. They're not kind of getting their own traffic light, are they? Oh, it does seem like they are actually abiding by crossroad traffic light rules here. Oh no, maybe not. No, they're definitely not. As with everything with Fewladelphia, it does seem problematic that we don't have a road link somewhere over here. But I did a bit of testing on it and it really didn't fit the aesthetic that I want. And there's lots of cities where you have to drive around a bit further to get to places. So yeah, it is what it is. We can go back actually and have a little look at the ferry usage. And you can see here 53, 63. It's getting reasonable usage across here. So if we go to ferry line 1, passengers 109 at the moment, 36% usage. I'm not really sure how the usage kind of works a bit. I guess how full all of the cars are across a monthly period. I'm not 100% sure. But it seems busy enough without being too busy, which is good to see. That must be taking some people off the road at least. But now we have a whole host of cyclists to contend with as well. And it does seem like we're backing up from this intersection here. So what I think would be wise is to continue this bike superhighway on this way. So let's follow it round the road here and give them an alternative route to contend with. Then we can bring it out into this intersection at this point here. And let's see what that does. We've got some real nasties to fix here, so let's go ahead and do that while we wait. So we've now got 2 routes to go down. That does seem to have shortened the queue that we have over here, which is a bit better. But it's still kind of a build-up of traffic, probably because of those bikes crossing the road here. So we could potentially ban bikes on that section of the road, but then we're going to funnel loads more bikes through this intersection, which I'm kind of reluctant to do. So I think it's something we'll leave for the moment. We'll keep an eye on and we'll see how it goes. Alright, so with bikes in and that part of the new update addressed, we've obviously also got the new tram turnarounds, but I'm not going to integrate them today. We may do a bit of tweaking of that further along the line. Next episode, I actually really want to get back to building out the rest of Baril, which we started quite a long time ago now and need to finish. So before we get back to that, there's a few other things that we do need to address. Like, we have got some major, the death care never seems to go away. I'm not really too sure what to do with that. When we have a look at our facilities, a crematorium availability isn't massive, so we could potentially do with another one of those. But healthcare availability is fine. Cemetery availability, absolutely fine. So yeah, but the thing is with healthcare is I was noticing, and it doesn't seem too bad now, but there does seem to be more and more ambulance pop-ups appearing, particularly in Fisher's Point, where we've got a big high number of our residents. So Fisher's Point, we've actually got 27, so almost not far off half of our entire city residents are here in Fisher's Point, and we only have one small medical unit at the moment, which is Fisher's Point Medical Clinic. So it's not actually at capacity, and this is probably a huge waste of money. But one thing I really would like to do is introduce a hospital for the first time into Fewladelphia, which seems ridiculous. We should definitely have had a hospital by now. Now, we've got the Netherlands Hospital, which would actually fit perfectly up here. And I also think this building would suit this area quite well at the bottom of the hill up towards our cathedral there. And it fits in too well to really be denied at this point, I'll be honest. So I think we're going to place this in. But what I would like to do is bring it out onto its own separate road, so we haven't got ambulances just kind of infiltrating into our main busy road here. So we're going to bring out a small section of alleyway here and just run this alongside the road. I'm not sure how far it needs to go, so we'll bring it like that at the moment. Then we're going to grab our Netherlands Hospital and we're going to place it in here. It's going to do some weird stuff to the terrain, but we'll tidy that up with some detailing in just a second. Now, we have an absolute ton of cash available at the moment. We're making an awful lot of money, so I'm not really too concerned with that. So I think what I'm actually going to do is upgrade it. So we've only got 7 ambulances with this main building. This gives us another 8. So let's go ahead and do that. And then this doesn't give us any more ambulances. That's okay, but it does give us an extra annex, which, why not? Let's do it. Let's have a fully upgraded hospital right here. And you can see the ambulances are coming out at this point. So let's connect it into the road right there. We have a lot of... Wow, we have a lot of tidying up to do here because there is some hawky, horrible stuff going on with the road. That's better. And of course, we'll tidy up this cliff area in a second as well and do a spot of detailing around it. Maybe add in some car parking because there's a tiny bit, but there's not a huge amount. So we'll fix that up with some detailing, but I think that's going to hugely help. When it comes to death care as well, I don't think it would be too bad of an idea to also add in a crematorium up here. So if we just extend this road out straight on like that, can we squeeze one in next to it? We could, but it's going to do weird stuff to the cliff. We could put it in straight up against the main road. but I think we're going to save that space for some parking. We've also got the Netherlands crematorium, which is a fantastic, amazing building. And I'm wondering if actually we might be better to utilise that somewhere on the outskirts of Baril too. I mean, it could even be here if we do some landscaping around the back of it. But maybe down here might be a little bit better. Again, we're going to need some landscaping, but that's okay. But this crematorium, if we just take a look at it, has 18 hearses and has lots of capacity to upgrade that as well. So an additional car park, which I think we're going to add a few of these onto the back. 2 of them at least, which would give us 38 hearses from this crematorium. I think that'll do nicely. Now again, we'll come back and do some detailing around this and finish off this strip up here in just a second. But there's one more thing, as you can see from the warnings, that I really do want to deal with, which is garbage. We need some major garbage overhauls. Now again, if we look at our info view here, landfill availability is alright, but we've only got 1 landfill. It's not too bad. It keeps emptying into our recycling centres and things like that, so I'm kind of not worried about it. I actually genuinely haven't fiddled or touched with this in a really, really long time. Recycling centre is doing the job of keeping up with that processing there. So really garbage shouldn't be that much of an issue, but I think it's a matter of how many garbage trucks we actually have. Now both of these are fully upgraded with the amount of garbage trucks they can actually have. So what I was thinking we might do is actually add in an incinerator plant which has 50 garbage trucks, which is quite a lot more than either of the recycling centre or the landfill. We've of course got the industrial waste processing facility as well, but I don't think we're quite ready for that. 250 garbage trucks, that is a lot. But this would add an extra 3,000 processing capacity. So if we take a look again at our info view, we actually only have 2,200. So that would hugely help. And the amount of garbage trucks that it's going to offer is going to hugely help. Now over here, we've obviously got our power station. We've got some sewage treatment as well. So it seems like a reasonable place to put in our incinerator. And I also quite like this on top of the hill. That's going to really stand out with that big chimney and the huge kind of industrial looking building up here. It also means we can connect it really nice and easily into our power lines, also helping the power station down there as well. So yeah, we're going to place it up here on top of the cliff, and then we can connect a road down the cliff here up onto this street. And then probably what I think I'll do is also bring this road over the highway here to connect into this road here, just so that the garbage trucks aren't having to go all the way out through Fewhaven Rail Yard and back this way to get onto the main highway network. Seems like a long way to go. Later on we will have another interchange over here, but I think for now we're just going to connect that up to give another easier access out to where a lot of the garbage problems are, which is around Fisher's Point. So let's finish up today's episode by doing that and a spot of detailing on our bike networks and also around our hospital and crematorium. Alright, so we've started with no bikes and now we have so many bikes, it's causing more traffic jams again. So like here, the trams are having trouble crossing because there's just so many bikes coming through. I've been watching this for a little while and that is what is causing this backup of traffic that we can see along here. The same is also true over in Fewhaven at this junction here. I've actually just put in a traffic light because there was just there was so many bikes coming up here, no cars could turn right. I mean, you can see that here now as well. That black car has just stopped there, unable to turn right at all. And these cars coming out from the highway entrance were just not getting anywhere because there were so many bikes crossing. But you can see, if I just pause it a second, how many bikes are now queuing up here, also in the road. We have a lot of cyclists, which I love to see. And you know what, I'm starting to, maybe wrongly, but I'm starting to embrace a little bit of traffic. Like this isn't too bad. It could be deemed realistic for, alright, okay, well nearly 11 PM. 11 PM. So we come down here as well. These ones aren't too bad now. Like it's causing small little backups every now and then along this road as the bikes kind of cross out onto the bike highway. Wow. Oh my goodness. Yeah. There's a hell of a lot of bikes here and it's like pedestrians are waiting for the bikes as well. I wish it was just a little bit more fluid in its mechanics, but I mean, this is like a cycling meetup. Yeah, look at it, look at it. It just keeps going. Oh, hello. Just keeps going all the way over the bridge. Now we are going to come on and build this island out in the next episode. That's a promise. I need to get back to building. I want to get back to building, so that's what we will be doing. But my goodness, we're just yeah, enjoying the amount of cyclists that we have right now. If we take a little look at bike parking, you can see we've actually still sort of just over half of the capacity used, so it's not too bad. It does ebb and flow quite a bit, but I would like to think that we have pretty good coverage with that, so I'm kind of pleased with that. We also just take a little look at the networks. There is a hell of a lot more purple than we had previously, including our little extra bike highway over here. You can see there's a few people using that, which is quite nice to see. They are still using these other streets though, so I guess it's a question of whether we explore banning them or whether, you know, it is actually a problem, whether we're that bothered. I mean, this isn't backing up at all over here. Crazy spaghetti network that is the bottom of the Grand Harbour Bridge. It's actually flowing pretty nicely, so I don't think we have a problem with them using the roads, but it's just nice to have these dedicated bike lanes in places. If anything, I kind of think they might cause a bit more trouble than they're worth because of the fact that cars then can't turn through the bikes coming through on the edge of the road. Whereas if the bikes were in the same lane as the cars, and I mean they're pretty speedy, as you can see here, then they'd just be moving in the same traffic flow, so it would be less of a problem. It was almost like bike lanes are actually traffic inducers. But you know what, it protects our cyclists, so let's not complain. Now the other interesting thing that we have here is, as you can see, okay, we've got two little garbage one? Did one of them just disappear? Wonderful. So all of our garbage warnings have pretty much gone away, with the exception of that one still remaining over there, which is great to see. I have connected this up around here under the rail, which then goes in past our factory. We've still got to develop this whole area. Coming up very soon. Just did a few little things to the incinerator, not too much because we will be coming back to this area further along in the city, but we've just dirtied it up a touch, changed some of the surfaces on the outside here. So I mean, I hate that kind of default gravel, whatever it is, surface. It looks really fake, so I feel like this looks a little bit more natural. And then we did add in a bunch of bike parking, a bike hall and a car park out here that gets hardly any use. But it is there for the employees as the incinerator and this factory area grows. So that's not too bad. And then if we head on out over here, we talk about death care. We've still got lots of death care warnings. I'm at a loss. It has to be a bug, because I mean this isn't even doing anything. There's 0 vehicles in use. Maybe it is a bug that I'm just not aware of with this crematorium. I don't know, but we've got other crematoriums that don't do anything either. If we head on back over to Tinny, this one vehicle in use, there's nothing happening. There's just nothing happening. It doesn't do anything. And if we go to our big cemetery as well, we've got something happening here, 2 vehicles in use, but look at all the warnings. The fact that there's only 2 vehicles in use, there's something really, really wrong. And I don't know if it's just the age of Fewladelphia now, so I'd love to hear in the comments if you have issues with death care too. Is it just a common thing, or is it something that I'm just really struggling with? So anyway, coming back to this area, we've got in the crematorium there. I've put in a little bit of extra parking next to it and a bike hall as well. I wonder if this is actually getting any use. 5 out of 60. It's getting some use. And then we do actually have this little viewpoint out here. I'm not sure how many people have visited it because it's so tiny, but I just thought it was quite a nice little viewpoint out over the castle. You can see up to Oregon Point in the background, View Haven, Gaudy Bay all there. If that smokestack wasn't there, you could probably see the Dargreens Vineyard over in Atkinson as well. But I just thought this was quite a nice little view, particularly looking out over Fisher's Point there, across the beach area. The boat's in the water now, in the castle. I'm loving that. And you will be able to actually, when we try and get back to it, see across to the downtown from here eventually too, which I think will be pretty cool. And that kind of helped to blend in this little hump in the landscape that I wanted to do something with. I wanted to keep it and try and go natural with that. Then over by the hostel, we've got a small gas station, which I thought just, why not? And then we've got lots of parking. So we've got 3 multi-storey car parks actually over here, just the small ones, because the height of this building isn't that great, and some of the larger car parking units just dwarfed it a little bit, which I didn't want to do for the hospital. So yeah, lots of multi-storey car parks. We've also got bike halls over here, so that one's getting a bit of use. And then we've got 2 down here as well that aren't getting any use. Wonderful. And then we've got a whole load of bike racks over here as well, which is getting a little bit of use, but not too much. And we just tried to smarten up the outside with a bit of surface and benches and some nice other things. So pretty simple. I did also put in this hatch box line here, so where the ambulances are coming out, I kind of wanted to keep it a stay clear zone, so don't stop over the hatch box is what it is in the UK at least. I'm not sure about traffic lines or what it means elsewhere in the world, but that's what it means to me, so that's what we have done there. So yes, that was 2 episodes back to back of trying to fix things in our city and get up to date with all of the latest updates. But we will be back next time in Burrill, getting some more actual building and detailing done and growing our city a lot further, because we've got 68, almost 69,000, oh, we're going back down again, not quite 69,000 population. We've got a whole bunch of money, so actually all of the buildings that we plopped today have been covered by the incinerator exporting the electricity, which is wonderful news. So in fact the city's not spent anything and it's grown millions across the course of upgrading its infrastructure with all of these bike lanes. But for today that is going to be it. If you have enjoyed the episode, likes, comments and shares are really greatly appreciated. There's ways to support the channel linked in the description below, but that is all from me for now. I'll catch you again next time. Bye bye.